Trojans have won it.
Behind-the-scenes insights and breaking news from the student-athletes who play for the Cardinal and Gold.
Jones to get the call on the right side, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown, USC.
Trojans Live is brought to you by Cooper Tires. Count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
Now here are Jordan Moore and John Jackson.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live on ESPN LA 710 and Facebook Live, fresh off winning the city title for the third consecutive year. USC head coach Clay Helton and the quarterback Sam Darnold are here, plus the world-famous USC Songgirls will join us later in the show. If you're listening in the area, come on down. USC women's basketball is going on next door as we speak. The women of Troy are undefeated so far in Mark Track's second tenure. So come on down to Galen. The men play on Wednesday, and then Sunday it's basketball season, of course, as well as football season. I am Jordan Moore, alongside John Jackson. JJ, on Saturday, it wasn't easy, but rivalry games rarely are.
There's always some drama to a rivalry game. What you think is going to happen, it very rarely does happen. And, you know, you give credit to UCLA. I mean, they played with a lot of pride, and I assume that that's how they would play. They played with pride. They didn't want to get embarrassed. And they played a tough and aggressive game, and they just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, some talent on that team, too, for sure. All right, let's talk to the coach, brought to you by Chevy. It's the Chevy Closeout, and the 2017s are going fast. Find special closeout pricing on many of Chevy's most popular 2017 models, like Silverado, Tahoe, and Traverse. Visit your Southern California dealer or SoCalChevy.com today. Bringing in the head coach, Clay Helton, 10-2. The 17th 10-win regular season in school history. Not easy to do. And coaches now has back-to-back 10-win seasons, and this time doing it in the regular season. Coach, JJ was just talking about it. I'm sure you weren't surprised that UCLA brought their best, and it was a competitive game. Were you surprised at all by the nature of the game that ended up being sort of a low-scoring affair? 28-23 is low-scoring by modern college football standards, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. You had. Basically, we were sitting at number 2 in the league offensively. UCLA's number 3, two high-powered offenses, and I thought an unbelievable competitive football game. Both teams, I thought, played their butts off and played extremely hard. Credit to UCLA with the pride that they played with, and really trying to get bowl eligible, coming off an Arizona State win. And I thought they played an excellent football game, and credit to our kids. Like they do, they find ways to win, and they've been really good at it for the past 2 years, and they found a way to do it again.
You know, you guys were right on it from the outset. I mean, the punt return call, just fabulous call, but even better execution of that call. How first of all, how far in advance did you know you were going to run it, at the first opportunity? And then, give us your behind-the-scenes look at that play.
Well, we call it the rat play because we want you to chase the cheese, and the cheese is the,
I like that.
The cheese
That's good.
The cheese is the punt returner. But it takes tendencies of being able to basically when you're on a hash that you're a placement team, that you're going to place the ball in a certain position to know where that ball is going to hit, so you're not in a guessing game. And then, 2, it's something that we practiced. We carried last year, if you remember. We did it versus Oregon. And this year it was ran to perfection, and the kids took a lot of pride into it. We said we were going to call it the first time that we got on the opponent's right hash. It just happened to be the first punt, and we didn't hesitate. We said, go with it, let's go. We said we were going to do it, play without fear, and it worked.
Probably the best part of it, which may have gone even unnoticed a little bit, is Michael Pittman able to catch the ball and stay in bounds. If he catches it and steps like 6 inches to the left, he steps out of bounds, and a great play never happens.
Yeah, definitely. I was sitting there on the sideline going, oh, gosh, this is going to be really close. But thank goodness he did make a great play executing the catch. And then the actor that Ajane was to be able to drag that, the coverage over to the other sideline was incredible. Just a very well executed play by our kids.
Janie got to deliver the punchline, too. If you see it, they all come to him, and he goes, he just points and says, look over there, guys. I don't have anything for you.
It was fun, though. I'll never forget Coach Baxter came in Tuesday night, and usually, he's a cowboy by trade, but when he says calf rope, that means he's got you. And he walked in my office about 11:30 at night going, calf rope, we got him, Coach. And I was like, all right, let's go back.
It was a special teams defense kind of game, so let's switch to the defense. And, sometimes everyone just sort of looks at the numbers that were amassed. In the end, UCLA ran 57 pass plays by my count, 52 actual throws, and then 5 where Josh ended up running around 4 sacks. How did it feel like overall your secondary, your pass defense in general held up, considering they were under pressure the entire night?
Yeah, when we look at things, I always go points first, and I start with there. You got a team that's coming in that was, I think, 35.5 points a game, and you hold them to 23 points. Well, how do you do that? I thought we played great red zone defense. We got 2 turnovers in the red zone. And the other thing I thought we did a nice job of is getting to the quarterback and affecting the quarterback. We needed some help coverage-wise. Was not our best night, but we were able to get to the quarterback, produce 4 sacks, 4 batted balls. I think Chinna gets 2 a game. He found a way to get 2 more down, but we had 4 total batted balls. And we end up holding a very talented, in my opinion, UCLA offense to 23 points. And credit to our defense. They kind of went with the bend but don't break attitude.
Yeah, the one thing that UCLA did a little bit more than they've had in the past, at least from the film that I watched, is they ran the ball more and stayed committed to the run. They only ended up with 80 yards, so it wasn't like they had a spectacular night running the football, but their commitment to the run made things a little bit more difficult as well. Yeah,
we always come in to try to stop the run game, and their commitment to that run early really set up some play-action passes, as we saw, especially at the heavy personnel groups. We knew going in, the heavier they got, from 12 personnel, 22 personnel, the ball was going to go deep. We'd be matched up one-on-one, and we needed to win those matchups. Some of them we did, and then some of them they won, and it created big plays and created big numbers in the passing game.
It was senior night, and I just looking at the box score, Chris Hawkins 10 tackles and a sack, Uchenna Nwosu 8 tackles and a sack, Josh Fatu a sack, Stephen Mitchell led the team in receiving. What does it say? You didn't have a lot of seniors. What does it say about your seniors, though, that they were really able to play their best game on a night where Nico Fala admitted to us afterwards he was almost in tears when he saw his parents. I mean, it hits them all when they have to do that before the game, but yet they found their best football.
Yeah, to have that group and what they've accomplished, especially in that stadium, it was emotional for all of us coming in. I thought they held their emotions in check and played an unbelievable game our older kids did. I mean, you think about what they've accomplished. They've been in that stadium now 2 years and haven't lost a game. They produced 2 10-plus win seasons, hopefully. They get the victory bell for a 3rd straight year. They win a Rose Bowl. Now they got an opportunity to win a Pac-12 championship. They've done some amazing things, and we said that by winning this game, it's really going to put an exclamation part on your season and most importantly your legacy here. And they did a terrific job. Very, very proud of them.
And defensively, there were a lot of guys that played well. For me, the one guy who didn't start and didn't even play as many reps as he has in weeks past was Isaiah Langley. He played, he played a key role, though, because it wasn't Jack's best night, no question about it. And so now Langley has to step in, and, quite frankly, Lasley, UCLA's receiver, he was hot. So, talk about his performance a little bit. How important was that on that night?
Yeah, it's been so great to see Isaiah progress as a player and really stepped in when Biggie got hurt, when Amon Marshall got hurt, and really has done a terrific job over the last 3-4 weeks. And now has given us a very trustworthy corner, a 3rd corner, that if all of a sudden a guy needs a break, he needs a blow and come over, hey, stay by us for a second, catch your breath, that you can put that kid out there, and he does a great job. He has great length, great speed, and a great skill set for the position. So credit our defensive coaches. They've really developed that kid, and he's doing a wonderful job right now.
All right, you're listening to Clay Helton on Trojans Live. He's coming back with one more segment. Thank you for joining us on ESPN LA 710 and Facebook Live. We've got a great show tonight. Stick with us. Back with more next.
KSP Trojans Live.
All right, welcome back to Trojans Live. Jordan Moore, John Jackson, and the head coach, Clay Helton here. We're counting down to kickoff with Mito Swiss watches since 1918. The official timekeeper of USC Athletics, be the first to own the Fight On limited edition timepiece. True Trojan fans, visit shopmito.com/USC. That's shopmito, MIDO.com/USC. The kickoff we're counting down to, we know the time, we know the date, we know the location, we know everything but the opponent, of course, which makes your life a little bit trickier. How do you handle it this week, trying to make the most out of a bye week, but not knowing who you're going to play.
Yeah, well, one, it's going to help us just to get a little bit healthy with
Yep.
some of the bumps and bruises we've gotten from 12 straight seasons. But it also helps you, too, now that we know it's going to either be Stanford or Wazoo, to be able to go back and re-look at those games, look at the game plans that we put together, make alterations that are needed. Remember, one of the things that is really important when you play that team the first time is to identify personnel matchups. Sometimes you go in there with question marks with new guys that come in, but you leave the game going, wow, that's a strength,
Right.
or maybe that's an area we maybe should have attacked more in a certain area. So we worked Washington State today. We're going to work Stanford tomorrow, and then we're going to give the kids a little bit of a break for Thanksgiving, come back over the weekend and get started for a Pac-12 championship game.
Of course, this matchup was, Sam Darnold against Josh Rosen, and there's so much made about just the quarterback matchup. Talk to me about as a fan, not necessarily as a coach this time. Talk to me about as a fan perspective. Going into that game, there's a lot of anticipation around it. It's sort of a lot of fun to see, right? I mean, you see those two guys battle?
Well, you got two guys that are going to be playing on Sunday at some point in time, and both kids have elite talent, and to have both of them be Southern California kids at USC, at UCLA on that night, for the victory bell, that's special. Right. I mean, those are the games that you want to watch, and you even get caught up yourself as a coach being a fan. There was about 5 or 6 throws in that game. I'm going, whoa, that's pretty dang good. And it was by both kids. But it was neat to see both those kids, having known them for so long, have watched them grow up to be at this age now and to be truly elite talents is fun to see.
Yeah, on the offensive side, you talked about there were just sort of some yards left out there, and that you look at the film. After looking at the film, what do you think didn't exactly click the way you wanted to?
Yeah, really trying to get Adarius Pickett out of the box. You saw number 6 come down there, that safety, and literally was playing in the box the entire night. And that means you're in cover 1, you're in man-to-man coverage, where we had been really good versus Colorado outside of just hooking up. We didn't hook up as well in this game. We throw for 266, but we're all you go 266, a lot of teams would be like, yeah, we had a great day. We always look at it, we're perfectionists and go, gosh dang, there's a lot more out there. And when you hook up on some of those balls, that removes the safety. I did think that T did a really good thing in the second half, as you saw, getting Daniel Amortabebe the ball down the middle of the field, because Darius had him in man coverage. So he got him 2 times we got him 2 times and missed a third on being able to sell play action fake and getting 88 by him and getting Daniel by him. So for 2 big plays, especially the 90-yard drive, the 10-play 90-yard drive at the end of the game.
Hindsight being 20/20, I mean, it's easy to say now, but now that you reflect on it, is it also a game the running back receiving, because Stephen Carr was able to run a wheel route that he, obviously nobody's going to be able to keep up with him from a linebacker perspective. Maybe they get the running backs involved a little bit more too?
Yeah, you saw Stephen actually make 2 big catches in there, 2 explosive play catches in that game, one on a swing pass that was a designed just throw it to him and block the man player. So we ended up blocking the man player, and he ends up getting, I think, 17 yards on that. And then we come back with the wheel route and get a matchup. We had tried it one time earlier in the game and caught zone coverage, gosh darn it, one time. But some of those matchups do happen with the tight end and with the backs against lesser athletes, and we were able to accomplish that. So
as we look towards this championship game, it's sort of a full circle moment for you a little bit. You had just taken over and become the head coach, and you went right into a Pac-12 championship game 2 years ago. Any lessons from that game? You have some guys that were able to play in it. Anything that you gained from that experience that you used 2 years later?
I think going into that game, thank goodness it won't be Christian McCaffrey.
They still have Bryce Love, Coach, so I'm not sure.
I still have nightmares about that. But, I think I remember walking away from that game, just the biggest thing that hit me. At that point in time, I was interim. I was trying to be the coordinator. I was trying to be the play caller, the game planner, be a head coach, manage all the responsibilities of being a head coach. I remember walking away from that game after doing the interim tag for 7-8 ball games and just being truly exhausted and saying, I'm not being what's best for my football team if I don't delegate the authority out to the coordinators and let them do their job, let really talented men do their job. And that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to step back a little bit. I'm going to be a true manager and CEO of our team. And that game helped me. After that, when I left that game, I said, you know what, I love play calling. I absolutely love game planning. I can still help our coaches in all three phases, but I need to go be the head coach if I'm going to do this and hire really good people to do their job and trust them.
You know, a lot of people going into the game, you know, even us, we're like, hey, UCLA, they're horrible stopping the run. They can't stop the run. It's impossible. Ronald Jones is on fire. They're going to roll up 500 yards of rushing offense. And then it doesn't happen. Is it just numbers in the box that was a problem? What became the problem where the run game couldn't go where it's been for the whole season?
Yeah, you know, we look up and Ronald has another 100-yard game. He gets his yards.
That's not good enough anymore, by the way.
I know. 120
the bar is
yards,
at 200.
Yeah,
Nothing's ever good enough.
The 122 yards isn't good enough, but he got his yard. And I told him, I mean, after the first couple of series, it was like I said, Ronald, this is going to be one of those pro NFL nights where there's always going to be an extra guy in the box or committed to it. And just be confident in making the 4 to 5 yard ugly runs and moving the chains. You look up, he averages 4.5 yards a carry. He gets it 28 times. He gets his 122. And, you know, most proud of him was on the last 3. You know, to be able to put the ball down and say, okay, we're running this ball 3 times in a row. Don't even think about throwing it. Hand it to 25 and let him in the game. And he does that. And that's who he is.
Before we let you go, let's get to the important questions here, Coach. You get to celebrate Thanksgiving for the first time in God knows how long it's been.
Yeah.
Favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal?
Favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal is I'm going to get to see my mom and dad are in town. I have not seen them all season. They're usually here 4 to 5 games, but you know, they live in Southwest Florida where Hurricane Irma hit, and a lot of devastation down there, and they've been helping rebuild not only their own house but my grandmother's house, and they're here this week. They got to see the UCLA football game. I'm going to get to sit down and hug their necks and have turkey dinner with them, so I'm thankful for my mom and dad and them being here this week.
Can you take us inside the Helton household? What kind of food is going to be there?
They just want to know what the spread's like.
Yeah, what's the spread going to look like? And are you going to go for one meal, or are you sort of pacing yourself? You're going to eat at 1 o'clock and then at 7?
Get the elastic pants
What's the
going?
game plan?
Well, I've got it pictured in my mind. You got to realize this is the first time in 23 years I've been there.
You've had time to visualize it.
I've never been there.
Okay.
So
It's all a fantasy.
I'm hoping there's some turkey. I'm hoping there's a nap with some football flickering in between on the TV. That's at least what they tell me. I'm looking forward to seeing how it is.
Okay.
Well, enjoy every minute of it, Coach, because who knows? You may not get another one for another 23 years. So enjoy it. It should be fun. You have an Apple Cup to watch. I think that's on Friday. The Stanford Notre Dame on Saturday. You're a football junkie. I'm sure you'll consume all of it and then get ready. Pac-12 championship game on Friday, December 1, 5 p.m. on ESPN. Opponent to be determined this week. And Coach will be back next week once we figure out who that opponent is. Next up is his quarterback. The man's in the house, Sam Darnold on Trojans Live.